Good morning, everyone. Um, I'm leaving now Almaden de la Plata, and today will be a long stage again, total 35 kilometers, and that is two stages together. Most pilgrims are doing that, but you had options here. You could go, I think, around 13 kilometers until the next city town, which is El Rio de la Jara. Sorry, my pronunciation. And then you go from there to Monasterio. So I'm gonna try to do from here straight to Monasterio. Today we have some rain forecast. Some say that at some point will be a little bit heavy. And it was a cloudy day from the start, a stark contrast to the bright sunshine of the previous day. As far as I could tell, I was still within the boundaries of the Sierra Norte de Sevilla Natural Park for most, if not all, of the walk to El Real de la Jara. Along the rolling dirt tracks, I soaked in the beauty of the dehesas. Apart from the weather, I also noticed fewer cork oak trees, alcornoques, than the day before. Instead, I saw many more trees that I believe were home oaks, encinas. I also learned that some of these trees are centuries old. While the previous day's walk from the Berrocal Gate to Almaden was entirely on dirt tracks, this stage included a few narrow trails that brought me even closer to nature. There was also something calming about the openness of the landscape. I like this landscape, very vast. It helps a lot your brain. You just feel very relaxed. Despite the tranquility and solitude of almost the entire first stage, I didn't have much time for introspection. I could feel one area of my left leg working more than the others. There is a part of my left leg that I feel a little bit more, but it's not, it's just that it feels like it's a part that needs to be strengthened. The feeling in my left leg was mild, but it persisted through most of the stage, almost until El Real de la Jara. I even limped a little and walked slower than I had during training, but it wasn't bad at all. I could still enjoy the walk and appreciate a stage full of life. And it was like that for the rest of the first stage, limping a little, admiring the ESAs and farm animals along the way, with even a quick appearance by a non-farm one. I just saw a deer on that hill. Of course, he or she just listened to me and run away. That's not. Hello, doggy. Hello, hello, hello. Not far from El Real, there was an uphill stretch similar to the Calvario from the day before. Near the summit, there were some beautiful horses and donkeys. As I slowed down even more on that hill, I could hear some pilgrims talking not far behind me. They finally caught up to me on the descent. It was the Italian pilgrims. I had met one of them, Frankie, at the albergue in Castilblanco de los Arroyos. He introduced me to the others, Francesco and a very nice guy whose name I unfortunately can't remember. We walked together to El Real, having nice conversations. Frankie, an experienced hiker, even gave me useful tips on choosing better parts of the road to save my leg a little.
Alex!
Oh, sorry. Sorry. I will.
No.
No, you want me to stay? Okay.
I want to make one a picture.
After a relaxing break in El Real de la Jara, we started the second stage. Not far from town, we reached the border with Extremadura, the next autonomous community on the Via de la Plata, leaving the beautiful Andalusia behind.
hill behind the last mountain.
We kept walking at a good pace, talking, admiring the landscape, and watching the cloud sky. About halfway, where the dirt track met the N630 and the A66 highways, we caught up with Sabine and Ed, who had left earlier from the albergue where I slept in Almaden. The Italians took the paved road, while I stayed on the parallel trail with Sabine and Ed. We started the final push to reach Monasterio, but there was still one last ascent ahead. As had become the norm at the end of my stages, I was exhausted. Trying to keep up the pace, I didn't take enough breaks during the climb and had to slow down significantly afterward. Ed and Sabine walked with me for a while, but I was going so slowly that I told them to go on without me. I collapsed at the first restaurant I saw in Monasterio. I stayed outside, watching the rain and recovering for a very long time. I asked around and finally found a hotel nearby. My left leg hurt badly, and I slowly limped through the rain to the hotel. I could tell by the way I walked that I had given everything to this stage. I was still staying alive.